Hey guys, Captain Fructose here. I wanted to do a little bit different of a video for you guys today. Normally I do gameplay videos. I wanted to do something a little bit different to help you guys get to know me a little bit better, I guess. I'm still pretty new on YouTube as Captain Fructose. And so I wanted to tell you a story, or one of my stories, of a time that I almost burnt down my parents' house. My poor parents, I owe them a lot. I was in high school, and when I was in high school, I was the stereotypical nerd. I had like the glasses, I had braces, I had a bright yellow like fuzzy jacket I wore everywhere. Like I was the stereotypical nerd in high school. And looking back, I'm just like, oh, why was I ever like that? Anyway, I loved YouTube. I watched YouTube videos all the time in high school. I was watching YouTube videos and I came across this video where like, ooh, guess what? I'm going to teach you how to make your own rocket motor. And I was like, oh, my own rocket motor? I'm going to do it. Because, I mean, anybody that's into model rocketry, like, those motors are super expensive. Like, you have to pay like $10 for like 2 motors, plus like another $30 for the model rocket to put together. And so I was like, well, if I can build my own rocket motors for cheaper, I just want to do that. And so I got all the supplies I needed. Like the rocket motors, you use like the corn syrup, powdered sugar, I think potassium nitrate. So I was brilliant and ordered this 10-pound bag of potassium nitrate. And my mom's like, what in the world are you going to do with that? I was like, I'm going to make rocket motors. And my mom's just like, she didn't actually do this, but I could totally see her doing this in her head. She's just like, what did I do to deserve this? Obviously, with the rocket fuel, you have to cook it, which in of itself is probably not a good thing. Well, with the electric stove, it's probably a little safer, but I didn't have an electric stove. I had a gas stove. My mom was like, well, you're not using any of my nice pots because I spent a lot of money on these pots, and I'm not letting you use these to make your rocket fuel. And so she's like, well, we've got some of these like camping pots that I don't know where they came from and nobody needs them. I was like, oh, yes, okay, I will use that. Whatever I get, I thank you, I will do that. And so I got one of those pots, and of course I start mixing all the stuff. I got like a little coffee grinder, and I ground up all of the potassium nitrate and powder because it makes it burn faster so you get better rocket motors. And so I grind all that up, and I get the powdered sugar, and I pour it in there, and I get the corn syrup, and I pour it in there. I'm like, oh, this is awesome, I'm making rocket fuel. And so I start mixing it up, and it's on the gas stove, right? And my dad's at work, and my mom's outside. I can't remember what I think she was like doing something in the garden or something because she loved making her garden. It's just me and my little brothers in the house because my little brothers were obsessed with watching me make this because they're like, oh, dude, he's making rocket fuel. We gotta watch this. There's me and my 3 little brothers around the stove, a gas stove with flames, while I'm making rocket fuel. So I'm mixing it, and while I'm mixing it, I didn't even notice, but there was this like a tiny little amount that had gotten mixed together and had got pushed up the side and was now dripping down the side of the pot. And I didn't notice this because I was just so excited. I was just like, I'm making rocket fuel. This is gonna be awesome. It starts dripping down and it catches on fire. And at first it's just like a little like shh, and there's smoke like going up. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. The rocket fuel, it works. So I was like, oh, cool, it works. So I better put this out. So I was, maybe the brilliant person I was, decided to grab it to try and break it off, right? Well, I didn't end up breaking it off because it's burned really hot and it burned my finger. And so I'm just like, oh, my finger. And so I leave it on the stove while the stove is on, run my finger under some cold water. Well, I get over the sink and I'm running my finger. I'm just like, oh, thank you. Because I mean, you know that feeling, like you burn your finger, you run on cold water. It's just sweet relief. Well, anyway, I was cooling my finger off, and then I can still hear the hissing. I'm like, and at the time it wasn't registering that it was still on fire because I was just like, oh, my finger hurts. And then all of a sudden it goes from this little like to the, and I'm just like, that doesn't sound normal. And so I turn around, and the whole pot, there's just this plume of smoke coming out of the pot. And there's pieces of fuel popping out and burning everywhere. And so I am just like, crap, I'm lighting the house on fire. And so I go running over there. And me being the brilliant person I am, I'm like, I've got to put it out. And I don't think, well, there's this fire extinguisher that's under the sink. Maybe I should use that, or maybe I should put some water on it. No, I decide that I need to try and blow it out. So I take in a big breath. I'm just like, and just blow on it as hard as I can. And this obviously doesn't help because it wasn't all mixed in. So there's still powdered sugar and powdered potassium nitrate and stuff in there that hadn't been mixed in with corn syrup yet. So that blew into my eyes. So I started screaming because I'm like, it's in my eyes, and my eyes were stinging. I'm like, I'm going blind. I'm gonna be blind. And then, of course, when I start panicking, my 3 little brothers start panicking because they think the house is gonna burn down. And the whole kitchen at this point is full of smoke, and the front room's full of smoke. And so they're screaming that the house is burning down. I'm screaming that I'm going blind, and my mother must have heard us screaming because she comes running in the house. What's going on in here? And, of course, runs in to see her 4 kids, one all screaming and running around like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And so she was a lot smarter than I was. She was out watering, and she took the pot, and she threw it in. She had like a nice pool of water. I don't remember why, but she threw it in there, and it went out just fine. She threw it outside in the pool, and it went out. I'm still screaming that I'm blind, and my little brother is still screaming the house is on fire. My mom gets them calmed down and gets all the windows open, and I'm still screaming like, I'm going blind. She's like, you're gonna be fine. And so I'm so glad my mother can deal with situations like this. Of course, she probably had plenty of experience because this is not the first time that something like this had happened. And so she's like, that's all right. So she gets me calmed down. We go in the bathroom and rinse my eyes out. And then they're still stinging. Like, we got them pretty good, rinsed out pretty good. Obviously, I could still see, and I wasn't blind. And I'm get them rinsed out. My mom has the doors all open in the house, airing all the smoke out. And she's just like, what were you thinking? And I was like, I don't know. Like, it was on fire, and I didn't know what to do, and I just wanted to put it out. And she's like, all right, you are not allowed to use the stove to make anything else unless it is food. Period. You are not allowed in my kitchen unless you are making food. And so I was like, okay, I'm only make food. And the whole situation was just so bad. And of course we got calmed down, and I was like, well, I want to make rocket fuel. And she's like, no, you're not making more. I was like, please, I want to make more rocket fuel. And she's like, all right, fine. I have an old electric pot thing. I don't use it anymore. You can use it for making rocket fuel in. And I was like, yes, thank you. And so I used that from then on to make rocket fuel, but I was not allowed to make rocket fuel in the house ever again. I don't know why I was allowed to in the first place. I don't think I was. I think I just kind of did it. But yeah, I was never allowed in the kitchen unless I was making food specifically after that. So that's one of my favorite stories. Like I said, like, that's not the first time something like that's happened. I have plenty of other stories of me doing stupid stuff like that. If you want to hear those, leave a comment below. Let me know you want to hear those. I'll be more than happy to tell you more stories. And if you enjoyed this and you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe so you can see any of the new videos I upload. And yeah, so this is basically, that's one of the stories from my past. This is me. So if you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe and join me on any other adventures we go on. And then, I mean, if you didn't, I mean, that was fine. I mean, you don't have to subscribe. But if you did enjoy it, leave a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And yeah, that's pretty much for this video. I'm going to be putting out more gaming videos. I love to get feedback from you guys. So if you haven't left feedback, make sure you leave feedback, because I love to hear from you guys. If you're enjoying a game, if you're enjoying watching me play a game, or you have a game you want me to try playing, send me a message. I'll be more than happy to try and play it if I can. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. So stay tuned. There'll be more videos. If you guys want, I will do more story videos as well. So thank you guys so much for joining me on this wonderful adventure, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.